Now, if you've been following along in these Latin 2 review videos, you know that we just finished reviewing all the ablative uses that you've learned so far. And the one that we just left off on was something called ablative of place where, which takes a preposition and simply tells us where something takes place. Now, there are a few nouns that don't fall into that ablative of place where plus a preposition category, and those nouns are domus, humus, rus, and along with the names of cities, towns, and small islands. So instead of taking a preposition and the ablative case, they do not use a preposition to express place where. So instead they use the locative case, of course, which expresses place where. So very different, and there's just a few of them left over, and this is called the locative case. Now, the locative case endings for these words, it's first declension, second declension singular. You get the regular genitive singular endings. So you use I or AE and I. Plural, first and second declension plural, ablative plural endings use the regular ease that you know. Third declension singular and plural use ablative endings, those there. So I'll give you some examples. Domi would be at home, humi would be in or on the ground, ruri would be in the country, and romai would be at or in Rome. So if I wanted to say I live in Athens, Athens is the name of a city, so we use Athenis, we use the ablative plural form because in Latin, Athens is a city that is considered plural, and Thebes is a city that's considered plural. Not so in English, they're considered a singular noun, but in Latin they're actually considered plural. And the second one I would say, if I wanted to say he is in the country, notice no preposition here, ruri est. Now, again, we talked about ablative of place from which. They do take a preposition. Ablative place from which shows where they're coming from, motion away from. And they have accusative of place to which. So accusative shows motion to some place. They use in normal nouns. They use a preposition plus accusative of place to which, or they use a preposition and an ablative of place from which. But however, these same nouns here that take the locative case also don't take a preposition showing movement from and towards. They use the appropriate ablative from. Remember, because we said ablative of place from which or accusative towards ending, but no preposition. So if I wanted to say, I'm coming from Rome to Athens, so we have the venio. I'm coming from Rome. There's our ablative because it's from, right? Takes the ablative. And Athenas, remember, it's accusative and it has to be plural because Athens is plural. I'm coming from Rome to Athens. Now let's talk about the last thing, which is the vocative case. Now, the vocative case in Latin comes from the verb vocare, to call. And so again, so you see that we get a lot of our grammar right from Latin, vocare, to call. The vocative is used when you talk directly to something, someone, or something. So frequently this case appears with an imperative, a command. So if I'm talking to you in English, I would say, Jan, go to the store. And then I've got talking directly to Jan, and then I'm giving Jan a command. So it does not have to have a command, but it can. So are you reading the books, students? And so, poet, sing a song. So one of those is a command, one of those is just a question, but I'm speaking, you can see who I've highlighted, I'm speaking directly to them. So the vocative is exactly the same as the singular nominative. Just like in English, when we say somebody's name, we don't add an ending to it, anything like that. We're talking to them almost like the subject. So the vocative is exactly the same as the singular nominative or plural nominative, except for second declension masculine nouns ending in us or ius, and you can see them right here. You can see that the us in Brutus becomes an e. Do You remember et tu, Brute? What Julius Caesar apparently said to Brutus after Brutus, his friend, also stabbed him. Et tu, Brute? So anything that ends in a US, that second declension becomes an E. Anything that ends in an IUS, like Filius, IUS just collapses and becomes an I. Right there. All the rest is the same. So the nominative, it's easy. The nominative for vocative is exactly the same. So just check the patterns out. The only weird one is second declension. US becomes E, IUS becomes I. So you can see the third declension is there. And that is the simple part of vocative.